Greetings, friends. It's me, Wayman, and it is 5:27 in the morning. And happy apocalypse. We made it this far, and I'm keeping things down because Mrs. Wayman is still sleeping. But I just got up to make sure that the world didn't end, and to have a coffee. I don't know what's in this. I'm trying this new milk, silk soy kind of milk, and tastes a little bit different. So I figured out a way. I'm digressing here, in case you didn't know. I figured out a way to be able to stir your coffee and mix the cream without using a spoon or coffee stirrer. And like all the other libs, I care about saving trees. And what you do is you put the cream in first, then you just pour your coffee in. It stirs kind of like naturally. So that's what I did with the silk, and I'm gonna have to get used to it. But back to the apocalypse. So hopefully the Mayans did a little bit better job than good old Harold Camping. I think Harold Camping got 2 tries, and there's been untold amounts before him. And one of the biggest ones that I've read about were the Millerites, which are which the modern day Seventh-day Adventists descended from. And they ended up selling farm equipment. So friends, don't sell the farm, but we can only hope that the Mayans do better than Harold Camping, but I don't know. So I remember one time I was in college and I was in art school, and this guy came around and he was trying to proselytize to my professor. And he says, I need to know that you're saved because the world's going to end. And my professor was obliged to have a conversation with him because I guess he knew the guy. And I happened to overhear the conversation while we were in ceramics class, and we were throwing pottery and things. And I was like, this is awesome. Couldn't pass it up, because even back then I loved studying religion and apocalypticism and why people thought the way they did. But this guy, he was right over the edge. So I weighed in on the conversation and sat in on it and listened to him talk. And then the guy starts proselytizing to me. I'm like, this is fascinating. I'm asking him how it's going to go down and everything. Invite him to lunch. We have lunch. And then, he tries to get me to confess and be born again and things. He was really pushy. And I kind of pushed back, And some of the other professors there knew him also. And I went to the library, and he was in there. And he was talking to the librarian, who was also the world religion teacher at the time. And they were talking for a while. So I went up after they were done talking, and I said, so, what do you think about that guy? And she was like, well, the world might end for him on that date, and he might have some hard things to deal with on that date. And I think that a lot of times people, when they plan for these things, it's either an end for them, or it can be a new beginning, a new beginning. So I don't know, I kind of wanted to maybe have a party tonight or something, the apocalypse party, but I didn't have enough time to plan because I was working. Some really good books on that, if you want to read stuff dealing with the whole end times, is, I believe, if you go to the Teaching Company, They have a whole series. I think there was maybe 12 lectures. Apocalypse Then, Apocalypse Now, which talks about apocalyptic literature from 1492 up until modern day. It's an excellent overview. And also the book naming the Antichrist. And I'm sure there's slews of others out there, but those two things are probably one of my favorites. I think that apocalypticism is negative in that it creates large amounts of pesticism in the society, which is kind of dangerous, and people give up. They give up their view of the future and their hope for the future and how they can shape that, and they believe that everything will just come to an end. Very pessimistic, and I think that too much of it can be very damaging, because if you think the world's going to end, you only care about yourself. You really don't care about people around you, and that's not a good thing, especially in the society that we live in today. It's not a good thing. So, I don't know, friends. Remain optimistic. Remain optimistic. Even if it's a false hope. Remain optimistic to the end. So here's to new beginnings. Be well, friends. Remember, everybody is thinking alike. Somebody isn't thinking.